Thank you, Tim Curry.
You went from in the moment to in the icebox.
Yeah,
In the freezer after his moment.
The cruelty of life.
Nell, you just gave us the promo clip for this panel. Welcome, friends and fans, to the GalaxyCon Live Rocky Horror Science Fiction Double Feature Virtual Q&A, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today we are indeed taking the time work and going back to the planet transsexual with 4 amazingly talented guests from the original theatrical feature film, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. So without further ado, let's all take a jump to the left, hot patootie, bless our souls, and bring them out. Our first guest is an actress whose credits include I, Claudius, Doctor Who, and the incredibly undervalued Hawk the Slayer. Today, she joins us to talk about her role as Magenta. Please welcome back the always entertaining Patricia Quinn.
Hello. I
Hello.
came in like a wrecking ball.
You always do, my dear. You always do. Oh, Pat, how have you been?
Okie dokie. Oh, don't ask. I'm so happy to be here. This is like going out. It's like going to a party. I've forgotten how to put on my lipstick.
Oh, well, you look lovely as always.
Bless your heart.
Oh, yes, indeed, indeed. So, hope the new year is treating you well.
It will do, I hope.
I absolutely think so.
Yeah, I won't be depressing, honestly.
No, we're off to a rough start, but I think the year is going to get better because it has to.
Has to, darling.
It absolutely has to. And speaking of things getting better, our next guest is a Tony and Golden Globe winning actor whose credits include the original cast production of Grease, La Planète Fantastique, known in the United States as Fantastic Planet, Megaforce, Spin City, and today he's here to talk about the eternally bewildered Brad Majors. Please welcome back our friend Barry Bostwick.
Right.
Hey, 45 years later, and we finally see each other. You look so beautiful, Patricia.
You're very kind. You look
Oh, no, I'm not. It's the truth.
Bless your heart. Thank you.
Okay, all right. And Patty, you look the same.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. You look a little hairier, but
I am hairier. You know.
But as you said, you just filmed something that that you look the part. You just played.
I played a hippie with a heart attack. You know.
Okay. Absolutely, indeed. So, otherwise, how's the new year been treating you so far, boss?
I just got back from Hawaii. How bad is that? And there was hardly anybody at the airport, and so that was even better.
Absolutely. Well, Barry, always a pleasure to have you here, boss. And it's always great to see you, especially in good spirits and in good health.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Thank you, sir. And our next guest, she is an actress and singer whose credits include The Killing Fields, Great Expectations, and Rock Follies. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of Columbia. Please welcome back the always lovely Nell Campbell.
Darlings, am I on?
Hello. You're here, darling.
All the way from Sydney,
Little
Australia.
sailor.
What do you think? I joined the Navy to see the world.
world. And what did I see?
I saw the sea. I
Yes.
saw the Atlantic and the Pacific wasn't terrific, and the Atlantic wasn't what it turned out to be. Hello, treasures. Quinn, looking sensational, darling.
And you're looking sailor-like, and I love that.
You look sensational, Barry. You look shocking, treasure. Has there been a hurricane where you are? Look at you. What the hell happened?
What?
Treatment.
Well, you've got a great head of hair.
Thank you. I'd like to be like this all the time.
I think you look great.
Well, he
Thank you.
does look
And
great.
I think you look very envious of your head of hair, actually.
Oh, it's a fabulous head of hair.
I know.
Absolutely.
And those blue eyes.
Huh.
Ah.
And Patty, looking fine, and loving the coif.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Half a gallon of hairspray, and trying to cover up my middle-aged bald patch. But I'm getting there. Nobody. I can't age as beautifully as Barry, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
My hair's a little wet, by the way, treasures. If you thought there was something amiss.
Well, you're always in the sea, darling.
What, Trey?
You're always in the sea,
That's true.
swimming.
That's why I've got my nautical
You were
attire.
looking for kind of blue
not-
shorts. the other
Nautical, naughty, or otherwise, Nell, is absolute pleasure to have you back. I'm glad the new year is treating you well, and it's always great to see you.
Thank you so much.
And people, absolutely, and people, it is always great to see. Our final guest is an internationally renowned musical artist and actor whose body of work includes Ghost Wars, Americathon, Fight Club, and of course, several albums, including the diamond-selling Bat Outta Hell. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of Eddie, the ex-delivery boy. Please welcome back Meatloaf.
And I suddenly saw an empty screen. I thought, where have I gone? Never mind. That showed my age, didn't it? Look, Barry, see, I grew a beard too.
Well, and it looks good on you.
beard.
It looks great.
I never could do that before, and suddenly I have a beard. I don't
Have you
know.
just grown up?
What?
Have you just grown up?
I guess no, I haven't grown up. I'm not going to grow up. Never grow
Well,
up.
of course not. But I mean, before you couldn't grow a beard, was that because you were too young?
I don't know. I
You
have
still had.
unlike Elizabeth Warren, I do have like 1,000% Native American because my great grandfather was married to an Apache in Texas.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and I'm covered in feathers.
Meat, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so busy and I don't know why. It's ridiculous. I've had 6 surgeries since September.
Oh shit!
I broke my arm and had to have that surgery. Others were elective and they did them all. Like on my hand to get this Dupuytren's thing, and then on the nerve, and it's a long thing. And COVID did something to my teeth, and blah 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 blah.
Oh, gracious. But I'm so glad to have you here. I so enjoyed our conversation a few weeks ago, and I'm so glad to have you back with the rest of your castmates from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And once again, gentlemen and ladies, thank you for joining us all here today. She's got her breakfast.
No, did we interrupt breakfast here?
Sorry, God, I have to have another cup of tea.
Oh, that's quite all right. It's quite all
And
right.
a scone
I
too,
want to
right?
show you something, how I make an individual cup of tea with fresh leaves. I use
And
this.
a scone, right?
No, nothing to eat
Ooh.
yet. That'll be after
Oh,
we've had
okay.
our chat. See,
So
I put
Barry, you
water
do
in
look
that.
great, by the way.
What, Trish?
I
No,
told Barry he looks great. I love that look.
Thank you.
He's
And
a
you
sexy
too.
mountain man.
I love that look.
Hippie with a heart attack. Hippie with a heart.
I want my hair to look like that, but it won't. So there you go.
I'm with you on that, mate. I just, he's.
I am
just
completely jealous.
Great.
That's
Okay, enough about me.
You,
I'm good with
you
this.
know, I mean, there's 2 sex gods on this screen today. So there you go.
Mhm.
Well, again, gentlemen and lady, once again,
And
thank you for
2
joining us.
goddesses. Sorry, God.
What's that?
No, that's all right.
And 2 goddesses. 2
Two
sexy
sex
goddesses.
Okay. So anyway, I got a question for Nell before we move on. Was that Pirates of Penzance you were singing when you came on?
No.
No.
What was it?
I think it's
Going
not,
to Navy to see the
not the
world.
boyfriend. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's the
Going to
boyfriend.
Navy to see the world. We'll see.
Is it, wait there, Dames at Sea.
Oh,
I
yes.
think it's Dames at Sea, but you
Have
know,
you done Pirates of
our viewers
Penzance,
will know
Barry?
better.
It's nothing to
Okay.
do with Pirates of Penzance.
No.
Did you ever do Pirates Meet?
They
I saw
wanted
Tim
me
Curry
to-
in it,
they were Joe Papp was trying to do everything in the world to get me to play. There was a modern Major General.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
But-
wonderful.
But Bat Outta
I
Hell
love
just come out.
Oh,
It didn't quite go with that. Did it?
I couldn't do that. I would have done it if it wasn't for Bat.
Indeed. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us here at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Our team right now is going through the chat room to pull out the questions for us. In the meantime, for our audience, I just want to throw this out at you. Just what's been the best thing of being a part of the Rocky Horror film? What's been if you could just sum it all up, how would you?
Meeting up with you, Patty.
the people that you have met and the people that you did the movie with.
Yes, completely agree.
I'd say it's the shadow casts around the world that I've met, the kids who are in the shadow casts. I think they're extraordinary, and I've met people that I probably never would have met in my life because it wasn't my world, or it's not my world. And I know we've all become so connected with them in one way or another, and they've taught me an awful lot about acceptance, I think, and being brave. And I just think they're a wonderful group, and that's what I take away from it all.
There you go. I like
Yeah,
that.
the
That's a good
fans.
point of view. I don't know that point of view.
Oh, because all.
I adore Rocky Horror fans. They're just joyous. I mean,
Rocky Horror Show fans, we all owe a huge debt of gratitude to all the Rocky Horror Show fans.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we honestly can never repay it.
Well, the thing is, they do this every Friday night.
Hold on, Pat. Let's meet. I'll go to you.
The only way we can ever repay it is to give the best we can when the opportunity arises.
Yep.
Pat, go ahead.
I was just saying that Rocky Horrors are, fed up because they can't meet up and everything. And I was getting ready for this, and I thought, I feel as if I'm going to a Friday night Rocky Horror night. Do you know what I mean? See what we do again. And I suddenly thought, yeah, I'm missing it too.
Well, I certainly miss hanging out with you chaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, what I want all the fans to know, and of course a lot of them aren't listening, but we never, ever tire of hearing your incredible stories of how much the film affected you and helped you when you saw it, when you live in these tiny towns that are, racist and sexist and conservative, Bible bashing. That the film helped liberate you, and that's just the greatest story ever, and we never ever tire of hearing it. I love hearing every single person's story.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Well,
and
I study the Bible, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Rocky Horror.
No, that's what the Bible bashers are not. They're bashing on about other things. Like, do not your neighbor's wife.
We're gonna argue this one forever now, so we should shut up.
Okay.
I think the main thing is that for me, certainly, first of all, what I think fascinating about Rocky Horror, the film, is its influence and how many people I met when I became a professional actor who. It wasn't Shakespeare. It wasn't traditional musicals. They got in through watching a shadow cast of Rocky Horror, and that when in high school, and that was like, oh, theater is not what I think it is. Theater can be this, in the forms of the shadow cast, and that's been a tremendous inspiration, either as a performer for some people or just as perhaps a new way of perceiving life and lifestyles for others.
The possibilities are endless. Excellent.
So absolutely, and again, this legacy will continue to go on. And what I love about Rocky Horror is that it's like Shakespeare in the literally in a sense of you have this core story, and so many people have taken it so many unique and fascinating directions, and you never see the same shadow cast twice. Everybody's got their own remarkable imprint on it.
Let's toast Richard O'Brien. Here's to Richard O'Brien, the author.
Yeah. Where is Richard? Has he just gone away?
He's in New Zealand, and he just sent me, The Guardian has just listed the 15 best Frankenstein movies. And we should have been number 2 following the original 1931 Frankenstein, followed by Edward Scissorhands, I think. But we were about number 12. Anyway, check it out on the Guardian website, the list of the best Frankenstein films. We're not high enough up there, but there's a great photograph of Tim, which I don't think I've ever seen before. The Guardian website. It'll be the UK Guardian.
So Richard as well?
Yeah, I think he's loving being in New Zealand.
Okay.
Got a gorgeous
And
wife.
you're in Sydney, correct?
I'm in Sydney, so near and yet so very, very far from New Zealand.
It is.
So, Meet, you play the role in Los Angeles on stage, and that got you onto the film, but just as Eddie, but you played the dual role in the LA production.
In the script, I believe in the UK, did not the same person that played Eddie play Dr. Scott on the stage?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I was so excited about playing Eddie. And I got to the set and was watching rehearsal. And I turned to the director, Jim Sharman, and I said to him, not taking anything away from Jonathan, who is a wonderful actor and did a good job, I said to him, it's a mistake not having me as Dr. Scott. And he went, oh, no, we're fine. When we came back to actually shoot Eddie, he told me I was right. There's a reason. And the reason is the urgency that Dr. Scott needs to have about finding Eddie. And about what happens on that floor in the lab. It's a different play. It would be a different play in that film.
Well, it started out because they couldn't afford another actor.
Yes, quite. And the thing is, I've never.
They could have paid me what I got for Eddie. I would have done Dr. Scott, not a problem.
No, I'm just telling you how that originated. Right, Pat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why?
They had to double up. Yeah,
I thought Richard O'Brien was just a genius.
We were getting 18.
No, sadly not.
I thought Richard was a genius.
Yeah, darling, the script was being written overnight while we were coming and going. You know, it was very casual.
And I think at some point we've all been in roles and doing multiple characters and that frantic costume change on the sidelines.
But it was so, I mean, you know, Dr. Scott's mustache was painted on with an eyebrow pencil. So that, yeah, in the play.
But yeah, sure.
That's the scope. But it was Tim Curry that, I mean, I'd had acting lessons and done Shakespeare already when we did Shakespeare. I mean, when we did more. And you always hear about being in the moment, and you always think you're in the moment. Well, it was Tim that taught me
Forget all that shit.
On the third show, he said the line, well, Dr. Scott, we meet at last, completely different than he did in rehearsals or the first two shows. And if I'd have said my line the way it was, I would have looked like a moron. And that taught me to be in the moment.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tim Curry.
You went from in the moment to in the icebox.
Yeah,
In the freezer after his moment.
The cruelty of life.
Nell, you just gave us the promo clip for this panel. Thank you. All right, we are good to go on our audience questions. So what do you say we switch on over to them? And our first one comes from Jocelyn, and she wants to know, what is everyone's favorite song from the film?
Opportunity.
I'm going home. The song that Tim sings at the end, right? On the edge of the stage. I'm going home.
Choose. Yeah, it's wonderful.
I just thought he was so brilliant in that. The feelings were so ambiguous. You just didn't. You felt sorry for him, but you know he was evil, you know. And I just thought he brought such depth to that, and I think it's a really good song.
I think, as I'm saying this based on the song on its own, like taking it out of the show, I would say Science Fiction would be my favorite song.
That's wonderful, that song.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful melody. The lyric, it's a great song. But I mean, it's one of the many things that people forget, or don't. No, that's not true. They don't forget, but definitely contributing to the film never even resting, let alone dying, is that every song is great. There's not a dud song in it.
Well, there was one dud song.
No, there wasn't. The one that was cut, you mean?
And which one was that?
It wasn't dud. It was because of the timing. No, that wasn't dud, and you did it beautifully.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a copy of that
Could
somewhere?
you just give me a little bit of it, please?
Once
Sorry.
in a while,
There was a song
she
cut
don't
from the
wanna.
film. Stop. There was a song cut from the film.
Yeah, Barry's song.
Yeah, once in a while.
Harry
Yeah.
Solo.
Listen, this is it.
After I got nailed by Tim.
Once in a while, she's gonna-
She don't want to call you, speaking on the telephone. And once in your life,
Well, now I
she
know
don't
what-
want to know you.
I don't
You look
remember.
around. Have we used up 45 minutes yet?
No, we got
Okay.
By the way,
we get the.
But it was just, it didn't fit in at that time in the filming. I would agree with that. I think that's definitely what happened.
No, I agree with you. It was the right song at the wrong place. Well, it was the wrong song at the right place. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
One of the two.
Did they sing at the show in '73? Do you remember, Nell?
what, darling?
Did they sing that song in '73?
No.
Yeah, mate, you're getting a little pixelated.
Yeah, I know.
No.
But what do you mean in the play? Yeah, they sang it. He sang it.
Not in London. I don't think it was in London.
I don't remember it in the play.
You don't?
I don't
Remember?
I
I don't remember. Sorry.
Hmm.
Very
I do
strange.
not remember that song in the play.
So
But can I just throw into that mix when Tim Curry starred in da, 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 Eric Idle's musical on Broadway, directed by Mike Nichols?
Yeah.
oh, Spamalot.
Mhm.
Spamalot, thank you.
Da, 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 da.
In the rehearsals, just toward as they were getting very close to the end of rehearsals and opening, Mike Nichols cut his favorite song from the show.
Mm-mm.
Tim told me that when I went backstage. It's called Murder Your Darlings. So the show worked better without that song in it.
Oh.
Sometimes you have a great song that just doesn't match the tempo of the production,
Yeah.
which is why Hot Patootie is one of my favorites, because I think it gooses the movie right at a really good point. When it comes on in as the tour de force, and Tim plays it so wonderfully, being all sneery. It's like stealing his thunder, and Nell, way you just went and does, my boyfriend's back. So that just works. And I also have a soft spot for science fiction, because as an old geek, I find myself having to explain those movies to the younger generation. Well, Michael Rennie was in a film called The Day the Earth Stood Still. It was a science fiction classic. And, and Day of the Triffids, well, that's where everybody goes blind. Some of that stuff. But Jocelyn, thank you. That was a wonderful question. And Meat, it's up to you. If you want to be all pixelated, fine too. If you want, sometimes if you log out and log back in again,
It's the internet.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So,
Yeah.
So okay, here's one.
Let me say one thing. If science fiction in the wrong hands, it just gets laborious. It's too long and flat. But in the right hands, like when Pat does it, it has some shape to it. But they just did a fundraiser, right, for the Democratic Party, and they did the live reading of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and when they opened it with that song, the woman who played the piano and did it, it was endless. It just was endless. It just didn't kick the evening off at all. It actually just slowed the whole thing down. So I guess that's my only problem with that song.
On that note, I would like to add, because I remember going to a Prince concert and he opened with one of my favorite songs of his, but it's a really slow song, a very curious way to open a show. The great thing when we did the show originally, and it was Pat's song, Pat was selling ice creams and everyone thought he was the ice cream seller. And suddenly the lights went dark and a spotlight came up on Pat, and she started singing that song in her melancholic voice. And it was absolutely fantastic. That was a magical opening of the show.
Well, that was the opening of the show.
I was
That
Sorry.
was the opening of the show in LA and on Broadway.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just explaining because so many people have seen it, just the movie. They don't realize
movie
it.
with the lips.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, I understand.
Eyes
I completely understand, and I'm sorry I'm pixelating. This internet has been giving us grief for the last week.
And,
Where
and-
are
and-
you?
You
and
look like a Francis Bacon painting.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fine. I'm all down for that. I'm heavy.
That's great. Got that right.
so we have a question on the table from Robin, and they would like to know, who were some of your mentors?
Well, I had one in New York when I was doing stage out of NYU, and his name was Ellis Rabb, and he was a director, an actor, and he ran the a repertory company on Broadway. And he sort of took me under his wing and sort of introduced me to the theater world in New York in the late 60s. And
That's called grooming.
what's that? It's called
That's
what?
called grooming.
Oh, I
What?
still didn't hear it.
No, I
That's
don't.
called grooming.
Oh, grooming. Yes, I was
If we
groomed.
wouldn't drink and speak at the same time, we'd understand.
Yeah, yeah.
My mentor was a gentleman by the name of Joseph Papp, and
Yep.
he took me under his wing in New York. I was the 13th person in the history of the public theater to be on salary full time, and he put me in table readings with Pacino. He said, you've got one line, just say it. And I sit there and listened, and he put me in Shakespeare. He was
So
my
what
mentor.
company did he
He told me I was capable of doing anything that I wanted in the world of in artistic world.
I think it was right. Pat, go ahead.
So I just trying to remember. Joe Papp, suddenly that name I know. And what company did he have?
The
New
public
York
theater.
Shakespeare.
He ran the New York Shakespeare Festival. He ran Lincoln Center. He ran public theater. He produced Chorus Line. He produced. I can't even go. It's endless.
Yeah.
The man was theater in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I was going back to the days of the Living Theatre coming here, but of course that wasn't him. Who ran that?
Oh, was he called Charles something?
Who?
Was he Charles? I'm sorry, I don't really know.
No, I do know his name, but I can't think of it. But he was like, I was at drama school at the time, and he was like, we were amazed by the Living Theatre. They were at the Roundhouse in London, here in Primrose Hill. And we went to the shows, and we went back to school the next day thinking, wow, now we've seen it. You know, it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It was brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, I suppose for me, it was when I had hepatitis very badly. I aged 10, misdiagnosed, and they removed my appendix, which
Oh, yes, you said.
made me extremely ill. But the great side effect of it all was 3 months at home with my mother, because I'm one of 4 children. So I had my mother to myself, and I'd watch the midday movie and every day. And that's when, you know, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, Ruby Keeler, all of those folk were doing the musicals, Busby Berkeley shows, etc. Alice Faye. And that's what got me going. Anyway, I hope I'm not boring you all to death.
No, I can see. I see
So
that in you.
Let me say one more. Let me say one more thing. When I was a kid, we used to eat our dinner, in front of TV dinners and stuff, in front of TV.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ed Sullivan Show, to me, was so important because I saw a little bit of every type of show business in it. You had opera, you had puppets, you had, comedians, you had everybody. And I thought the Ed Sullivan Show was very, very important to me as a kid to see, what entertainment was
You had
about.
Elvis. You had the Beatles.
Yep.
You had
Yep.
Elvis Presley from the waist up.
Yep.
Right.
The Doris, Carlin, and Dean. Robin, thank you. That was a great question. What do we have next from Louise? What did your family think when they saw you in the movie? Oh, and I'll say this too. You can also, if you have an interesting story about if you were in one of the theatrical versions.
I I had no family. I don't have a brother, sisters, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, aunts, uncles. I am by myself with
I
my
know.
wife and my
Did you have some friends who came out and saw it? That hey, come and see this new thing I'm doing. Did you get a reaction from them?
just Jim Steinman and Ellen Foley and myself went to. We were doing the National Lampoon show in Philadelphia, and we went to the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock showing, and we're the only 3 people in the theater. And I didn't know what to think because it was very different than the play.
Yeah, that is for sure. What did they think?
Well, then, hang on. But it became interesting because when it opened at the Waverly in New York, we were on Broadway with Tim. And so Tim asked me to go with him and his friend from England down to the Waverly. And when I got there, I went to the ticket booth and they said they were sold out. And I said, well, hang on. You see the gentleman I'm with? He is Tim Curry. He is Frankfurter, the star of the film. And I play Eddie in the movie. You think we can get in? And she went and left. She goes, okay, you can get in. Well, Tim and his friend went in and sat down. I sat next to him. The manager of the theater walked by me and said, you better be who you say you are, or you're in big.
I hope you gave him a few notes from your song. Took the roof off the joint.
Great story. That's great.
Oh, that's fantastic. Who's got another one? Either friends or family's reaction to the film.
Well, I thought it was wonderful. I mean, my son, I wanted my grandson to come and see me at the Royal Albert Hall because we were doing 40 years of Rocky Horror and one was presenting it. So I wanted Charlie, my grandson, to come and see his grandmama to be at the Albert Hall. I mean, I'm, his granny standing on the stage presenting a film.
You're at Royal Albert Hall. They should come.
Well, the point is that Quinn said, no, my son said, no, mother, because there's a 13-year-old thingy on it now or something. And I said, what the are you talking about, Quinn? You were on the set when you were 5. How dare he? And he didn't bring Charlie. I was furious. And anyway, Charlie, this is wonderful. And Charlie then said to me a while later, he said to me, Pat, I said, yeah. He said, I've seen it. I said, sorry? He said, what, Charlie? He said, well.
That is so funny. That is
Patty,
hysterical.
Patty, you should mute me for a second because I'm going to call my wife and I'm going to be extremely loud.
No problem.
Don't blame her.
No problem.
Okay, just mute me.
Okay, if you want, when you want to come back on, just wave your arms around or give us a thumbs up and we'll turn you back on. Okay, those will work too. Nell, we have a new panelist. What's that one's name?
This was Tallulah.
Oh, hello, Tallulah. Thanks for joining us.
She's not so keen on me picking her up, but I have to force it on her sometimes.
Oh, it is. So, Nell, what do you have any friends or family reactions from when they saw the film?
Oh, they were absolutely thrilled to see me on the big screen, as you can imagine. No, they were just absolutely proud as punch. Except I think proud's the wrong word. Out and proud is good, but they were just thrilled. I got a gig up there, sequins, tap dancing, and unshockable parents, really. So there was nothing. I think seeing me in Jubilee, well, I was with them when they saw me in Jubilee. I had a hat and I suddenly threw it in the air at some moment when I was in bed with Adamant. Bit of a distraction.
Quinn's in Jubilee.
Pardon?
My son is in Jubilee.
Is he?
Yeah.
Who does he play?
Sorry?
Who does he play?
He plays a little boy who finds a kind of stone or something, a precious stone at the end or something.
Oh.
It's Quinn. Yeah.
How
Because
fun.
his
How
father, Don Hawkins, was the producer, one of the producers on Jubilee.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Barry, what was that?
My kids, who were teenagers at the time, hadn't seen it, but all of their friends had seen it, and so finally their friends took them and to see it, and they have never talked to me about it.
I actually thinking about that. I didn't have anyone who saw it.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I mean, they didn't see it with you.
Me?
I don't know if my mother ever saw it. I don't know when it came to Belfast. I mean, there's a massive Rocky Horror following in Northern Ireland, because it goes to the Opera House, that stage show and everything. But I'm looking back at the time. I mean, I saw the film with you in Leicester Square. Do you remember?
Yeah. By the way, I didn't see it with my parents. They would have seen it in Australia, and I was in London at the time.
Yeah, nobody mentioned it at the time. I mean, come on, it was a sleeper for 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's lived on. So, Louise, thank you. Great question. What's next? Here's one from Samantha. What is hey?
I don't know. I don't know if it's any better.
It's worse.
Well, we can hear you. That's the important thing.
Yeah, you're coming.
Okay, that's better.
Bit better.
All right.
I think it's worse. I think you're right. Okay.
No.
I'm going away again. Sorry, guys.
Don't worry, darling.
No worries, boss. I mean, we can hear you as long as you hear us. I think we're okay.
Okay, you want me to just stay here and talk? Okay.
Yeah, please. Man, we would love you. I mean, if you're that uncomfortable, I'm not going to hold you to it. But like I said, we can hear you. The audience can hear you. So
well, then I'm going to talk and walk.
Okay, we can do that too. So this question on the table is from Samantha, and she would like to know, what was the hardest challenge you have ever faced filming? And you may draw from any part of your career.
I once was in a TV movie where I played a fighter pilot. It was called Red Flag and was based on a real story that happened at Air Force training where American planes were fighting Russian planes in these games.
Yeah.
And there was one scene where I had to walk out onto the tarmac, get into my jet, and I had dialogue on the ground and getting into the jet. But I had to time it with two jets taking off right behind me. And they told me before we did the scene that if I screwed up, it would cost them about $10,000 every time the jets had to go up, turn around, and then come back down again.
Oh, wow.
I was petrified because of the challenges of having to...
The pressure.
The pressure of having jet planes behind you taking off just as you said a particular line.
That's not the right one.
Yes, it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I thought you were going to say just getting into the cockpit of a fighter plane, because at your height, that couldn't have been an easy thing.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I also once played a captain of a submarine in World War II, and I realized once we got there that I realized why people in submarines, there was a height limit. You couldn't be over 6 feet tall and be a person in a submarine. I was 6'4", and I kept on hitting my head on the top of the submarine. So yeah.
Well, I can't remember the film, but the hardest challenge I ever had was Danny Aykroyd had been cast in this film, and he decided he didn't want to do it, and so they hired me. And they wanted me to be Danny Aykroyd.
Yeah.
I can't be Danny Aykroyd.
How
I
funny.
can be Meatloaf. But I don't play Meatloaf. I could be whatever that character was, but I'm not going to be Danny Aykroyd. He has a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Than me. That's the hardest challenge I ever had.
Playing Danny Aykroyd as somebody else.
Yeah, playing Meatloaf, playing Danny Aykroyd as Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a bad time in Hawk the Slayer. The opening scene, I was in the back lot somewhere in Black Park or somewhere near Elstree, and I was tied up to a tree, and I was blind. I had the blind thing was a blind piece of leather over my eyes. So I had this over my eyes. I had all these rags on and tons of bones and things hanging from me. I was this old. It's called actually my name on the film was it just said old woman. That was who I was. That was the name of my character. And then they dropped that to woman. So I was a woman, and I thought, oh, well, that's her. That's good. Anyway, so I was hanging up on this tree, and they had a bonfire under me. And Warren Clark, the actor, was saying, "Burn the hag, burn her." So they're going to set fire to me, and the pouring rain all day, and I'm hanging there with this blindfold on, and I just wish they would burn me. Came by on a horse and went ping with an arrow and shot down the ropes, and I was free. And I went home and I thought, I'm going to die if I stay in this movie.
Well, I'm glad you did, because again, I adore that film, and we've spoken about it before. You said that that's your son's favorite movies that you've done. So,
well, no, he saw it as a little boy. He was quite proud of that. Yeah.
It's indeed. So, and Nell, how about you? What was the biggest challenge?
I suppose it was just a moment. It wasn't so much a challenge because my role was so small, but I was in the killing fields and we were doing a scene. I was playing a journalist and there was a bunch of us. We were in Thailand pretending to be real. And in Vietnam, and they had, they weren't Black Hawks in those days, but those army helicopters.
The Hueys.
Leaning out with machine gun pointed at you, and they were just above us, and we had to be getting ready to leave the Saigon American embassy off the roof, and it was like the real thing. It's funny, but if you've got an army helicopter so close to you, the noise of the helicopter, guys pointing machine guns and rifles at you, and that was just to protect the Americans, but it was terrifying.
Yes.
I get a little bit fun.
It was supposed to have been the real thing, Nell.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think I got into my role.
Yes, darling.
Helicopters again.
Wonderful movie. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. And Samantha, thank you. That was a wonderful question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with the cast of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But ladies and gentlemen, any final words for our audience before we go backstage?
Well, no, but I have final word for you. Can you leave the four of us on a screen for just a second without anybody else listening so I can talk to the four of them?
Yeah, we can do that. We might be able to do that backstage. I think so.
Okay.
I think we can't do it while we're on here, but we can try that backstage for you.
We did that backstage before. Yes, please.
Yes, indeed it does. So
thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you very much. It's been great. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Patty.
Very global.
Always.
And thanks to everybody who asked the questions.
Absolutely. Thank you to everyone. Then we'll go Pat, Barry, Meet, Nell. Thank you again for joining us here at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us. And as Meet said, thank you for those wonderful questions.
And hi to my friend Doug, and hi to Tony, my two darlings. Doug Papaya and Tony, very Italian.
Tony.
Until then,
Tony too.
Until then, everyone, bye-bye, take care, and please keep washing those hands.